Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with another interesting advanced analytics problem. I've solved this problem using both SQL and Python. In this video, we will be discussing the solution in Python. Link to SQL solution is available in the description below. Make sure you watch the video till end and please subscribe to my channel if not already done yet. So guys, this particular problem I have already solved in SQL. So those who have watched that particular video, I would recommend you guys can basically like skip the introductory part of this and directly jump to the solution. So yeah, without wasting any time, let's get started. So let me just quickly walk you through with the data set over here. So yeah, so as we can see, basically we are having this data set from Uber, and basically Uber had provided us the their employee based data set. So over here, as we can see, we are having employee first name, last name, ID. We are having hire date, termination date, and salary as well, right? Now, basically, as part of this particular problem, we have to figure out longest period in days, right? So basically, we have to figure out longest period in days that the company had gone without hiring anyone, right? So basically, over here, as we can see, we are having hire date. So we have to figure out longest period that should be in like number of days, right? Through which that particular company did not hired anyone, right? Similarly, we have to figure out longest period as part of termination, right? So basically, longest period again in days that particular company did not terminated anyone, right? So yeah, so basically over here, since we have to work on both of these dates columns, right? So over here, first of all, let me just quickly check that the data type of this, like these two columns should be date, date time, right? So for that, I am using df dot d types, right? And as we can see, like both of these columns are not in the form of date time, right? So for that, let's quickly like convert these two columns in date time. So I will use higher date, right? And in pandas, we can use pd dot to underscore date time, right? And with that, same thing I will basically do with termination date as well, right? So yeah, so with that, we will be able to like basically convert both of these columns into date time, right? The only thing, or the only thing why we basically converted this to date time column as we have to basically fetch number of days from these dates, right? So let's say if like these dates will be in the form of object, we will not be able to fetch, or we will not be able to convert these dates to days, right? So that's why basically we have to convert these these two dates into date time, right? Or let's say if we have to fetch any of the information from these two date time, these date time columns, right? Or date variables, we have to first of all make sure like these columns should be into date time format, right? Now, let me just quickly show you the data set once again. So over here, as we can see, we are having few values where, as we can see, we are having termination date as null, right? So, first of all, what we have to do, we have to basically get only those values where termination date is available, right? Because we have to fetch longest gap between two termination dates, right? So wherever the termination date is not available, we will not be able to basically fetch like gap from there, right? Or that particular record will not be useful for us, right? So for that, what I'm doing over here is I will first of all drop those records where we are having null values, right? Because we are not interested into them, right? And basically, we will figure out like number of days in which there is like a gap between hire date and termination date, right? So for that, what I will do, I will take df hire date from here, right? And from that, I will use drop na method in Python, right? Let me just run this and we'll show you how our query will look like, right? So over here, as we can see, basically we were able to drop the records, right? And simultaneously, what I will do, I will basically sort them as well, right? because we have to since we have to fetch or since we have to calculate number of days or like gaps between two higher dates. So like we have to make sure the higher date should be in ascending order, right? So with respect to this, or like simultaneously, I will basically sort this out as well. So for sorting, I will use dot sort underscore values. It should be values. Okay. So with that, and let me just quickly store it in any other variable. So I will store it in higher date, right? Now, when I'm running this, let me just quickly show you what will be there. So these are the higher dates which I got in this particular variable, right? Now, what we have to do, we have to calculate the difference between these higher dates, right? So in order to calculate difference in Python, it's like pretty much straightforward. We have to use dot di double f, right? So basically it's like dot diff function is there in Python, which will basically calculate the difference between two consecutive records, right? And then again, let's say like if there will be na, or like there will be any NA. So in order to take care of that as well, I will use drop NA method, right? And again, I will store this into higher gaps, right? Let me just show you that as well, right? So yeah, as we can see over here, we got like 0071, right? These many number of days we got, right? Now what we have to do, we have to basically fetch maximum number of days from this particular data set or from gaps data set during which like hiring did not happen, right? So in order to fetch the maximum days from this, I will use dot max function, right? And again, like from this dot max function, I will basically fetch number of days, right? So in order to fetch number of days, I will use dot days, right? So once I'm using like running this, I will be able to, I think like there is some issue, or let me just take max, right? And let me just store this into variable longest period without hiring. Okay. So once I'm running this, let me just run this and we'll show you how our output will look like. Yeah. So as you can see, basically we got 269 days, and these are the longest days during which hiring did not happen, right? So yeah, likewise, like we will be able to figure out like longest period without like termination as well, right? So I will use same thing, but that will be on termination date, right? So instead of hiring date, I will copy termination date from here. Yeah. So hire date should be termination date. Okay. Similarly, I will use the same method over here as well, right? So for drop NA, like for hire date, instead of hire date, I will use termination date, right? And it should be, no, my bad. Actually, I have to copy this. Yeah. So over here, this we have to do from termination date, and this variable name should be termination gaps, right? And again, we have to take maximum from there. Okay. So termination gaps and longest period without termination, right? Let me just show you what will be the output. Yeah. So as you can see, like over here also, we got like 337 days since when that particular company did not terminated anyone, right? So yeah, like basically this was the output which we have to like fetch as part of the problem statement, right? As we can see, like in this particular problem, we have to calculate longest period without firing anyone and longest period without hiring anyone, right? So yeah, these are the number of days which we have to basically calculate in this particular problem, right? So guys, as part of the comparison, like since I solved both of this particular problem using both the languages like SQL and Python, So comparatively, solving this particular problem in Python was much easier than in SQL. You guys can let me know in the comment section like which solution you like most, right? So yeah, that's all from my side. I hope you got to learn something new from this as well. Thank you one and all. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.